Hello everyone and welcome back to Football Manager 2020 and another part of this series where we are with Tottenham and we have gone a long way into the future following the last episode where we did manage to win the UEFA Super Cup by beating Porto 4-2. Now, luckily for you, I'm not going to try and go through every single one of the games that we've played since then, but you can see there's an awful lot of green on this list, which shows just how well we've done. We've only lost one game so far this season and we're getting towards the middle of December, so it's been a really good run. We followed up that game against Porto with a 4-0 victory. Daniel, Pete Oumans, Nolan Kenner and Richard Buttman all getting goals. So there were some sensational goals in that game. We then managed to overcome a early deficit to Everton to win the game 2-1. Jared Braithwaite scoring in the 46th minute of the first half, but Esposito equalising seconds later to make it 1-1 and then scoring the winner 11 minutes from time for a big victory. He then followed that up with a goal against Burnley to give us a simple 1-0 victory there. And then we had a tough match with Chelsea where we did go behind twice, but both times we managed to respond and get an equaliser. Richard Buttman getting both goals and showing that he can play that striker's role. We did have a disappointing start to the Champions League, a 1-1 draw with Aberdeen away from home. We scored the first goal, Mason Greenwood on the score sheet. We rotated the team quite a bit, but still a lot of key first team players in there. We would have expected to win that game comfortably, but they managed to get one back through Ben Cottrell. So a little bit embarrassing that we couldn't beat the Scottish team. We then smashed Sheffield United though to show that we do still have it. Esposito getting 4 goals in this game, including 2 in a minute, which was fantastic. Pete Oumans getting on the score sheet as well, and good to see Omar Jana return to the team and get a goal following that lung injury last season. We dispatched Crawley Town with a rotated team in the EFL Cup. David Neres, Joshua Zirkzee, Omar Jana all on the score sheet. And then beat Watford 7-0, so a 6-0 then a 7-0 win in the Premier League. Harry Kane's turn to score 4 goals in a game. A brace for Ruben Dias as well, which you don't see too often. And Nolan Kenner with another header from a corner to make it 7-0. Then we took on Barcelona. This will be the first highlights that I show you since the last episode. Of course, our former team Barcelona, where we did win 2 Champions League titles, a few league titles and various other cup competitions. Ambere put the ball in, Navarro off the post, and Ansu Fati with a tap in against his former team made it 1-0. Severo to Dembele blocked, but Barrow picked out Mbappe, and of course he scored to make it 1-1. Several of our signings combining there to score past me, but we replied again. Cesar on the right whipped it across, and Buttman doing his job at that near post for the second goal that we scored in this game. He then charged forward on the half-hour mark, found Mbere, who beat ter Stegen at his near post for 3-1. 20 minutes from time though, the ball goes in. Barrow hit it off the post or off the defender, and Jota off the line to make it 3-2, and Diego Jota got the third with 7 seconds left on the clock in added time. Before the referee would have blown his whistle. Had we managed to clear that, we would have won the game. It would have been a big win for us. But Barcelona managed to come back and get the equaliser. However, we continued our fantastic run in the league with a 6-0 crushing of Blackburn. Pete Oumans with 2, Esposito with a hat-trick, and Jano with a goal as well for 6-0. So that's 6-7-6-0. We were on quite a run, and unfortunately Manchester United were the next ones in the firing line. United were looking to push towards the league title this season, maybe put up a little challenge against us, but it didn't quite work out in this game. Gonzalez put the ball in, it came out to Pete Oumans and he fired it in. He looks like such a signing out on that right flank. Ball then given away, Fati intercepted, it came back, little 1-2s between him and Daniel before Fati bent it past De Gea for 2-0. Cesar then put the ball in, and Buttman with the near post header for 3-0. And then not long into the second half, Pete Oumans attacking down the right, put it in, and there was Captain Harry Kane with the goal that made it 4-0. So a really comfortable victory against a tough Manchester United team. We got our Champions League campaign back on track after 2 draws by winning away from home against Lille. Pete Oumans again and Walter van Berre both scoring, the right wingers, in that game. Brighton were beaten 4-0, another Esposito hat-trick. You can see he is on absolute form right now. We're also doing a great job with Malunga in goal of keeping clean sheets. But we did concede against West Ham. We won the game 5-1 though. Another Esposito hat-trick. Pete Oumans and Santiago Navarro scoring all 5 goals in the first half. You can see 43, 46, 47. They were flying in, and the West Ham manager would not have been happy after they took an early lead from the penalty spot. We beat Leicester in a tough match, 2-1. Butman with the late equaliser. There's a lot of those going in, showing the determination of the squad. Esposito with a late goal for number 2 to win the game. And then an absolutely pulsating game against Lille in the Champions League, which I think we have to watch. We had done a little bit of rotation with the team, not enough to trigger a little banana skin, but it seemed to be heading that way. Gonçalves with the ball in, came out to Kenner. He held it up, pulled it back, and Zachariah Wilson found the top corner. I think that was his first goal for the club. And then the long throw goes in. Greenwood with the header in front of the keeper made it 2-0. They did get a goal back. Fabinho pulled it back, and there was Darker in the box who found Levallen, and he found the back of the net to make it 2-1. We made it 3 though, and Barre from the penalty spot. Lille had earlier missed a penalty, but we made it 3-1. They then pulled one back, 20 minutes to go, Hendricks with the header, and then 15 minutes to go, Darker with the header, and it's 3-3, and I'm furious. But fortunately, Jana charging into the box, teed it up for Ambere, and Jana somehow finds a goal past Henderson with no angle available. We then make sure of the win when Jana, involved again, finds Wilson for the finish at the near post, and then late on, 92nd minute, Henderson tackled by Jana. Terrible goalkeeping, and Jana just runs the ball into the back of the net. He was our talisman in this game, giving us that much needed victory in the Champions League. We then beat Bournemouth 4-0. Fatty's turn to get a hat-trick. Esposito with one from the penalty spot. We lost to Arsenal. I won't bother showing the highlights of that, given there's just one goal. But this was extremely frustrating. This was one of those matches where we had 22-14. They had 3 shots on target and managed to score. It was so annoying. But we did manage to get a bit of revenge on Aberdeen with a 3-1 win. Kane with a hat-trick this time. And then we smashed Aston Villa for 8. You might remember that we lost the title due to our poor goal difference last season. No chance of that happening this season. 6-0, 7-0, 6-0, 8-0, 4-0. They're just flying in this season. 1 for Kenner, 2 for Wilson, 2 for Navarro as well. Esposito, Oumans and Kane all on the score sheet. And then a big win against Manchester City, who are our nearest title rivals from memory. There's a few teams trying to catch up with us, but we're opening a pretty good gap up at the top, as you might imagine. Ambere's ball in, came out, Butman, few efforts before Lorenzo eventually tucks the ball home. Bellingham to Daniel, it was played over the top, Fatty in behind, and he managed to beat the keeper. Poor goalkeeping from Ederson to make it 2-0. We never really looked in danger in that match, but we did follow it up with a disappointing drop 2 points against Norwich. However, we are 7 points clear of Manchester United in the title race, 8 points clear of Man City, and 9 points clear of Chelsea. The league should be ours this season. I'd be stunned if we didn't manage to win it. That really would be the ultimate bottle job. So instead, our attentions need to move to the Champions League. You can see we are topping the group in the Champions League, which is a little bit remarkable given we threw away a potential win against Barcelona. We've already qualified, so we are going to play them today because it's nice to play our former teams and sort of show the games. We need to make sure we win the group, and today we'll also play the Carabao Cup Quarterfinal against Liverpool, a competition I don't think I've won yet. No, Chelsea and Liverpool winning it in the last 2 seasons, so I'd like to actually add that to the list. The FA Cup as well, we've not won, so that needs to be on the list this season. So a few things we need to do, but once we're through today's game, we probably will go quite a long way into the future again, depending on who we get in the EFL Cup semi-final. I might not show that. It could go all the way to the final the next episode, and probably the turnaround of the Champions League knockout stages depending on how they go and who we're drawn against. So lots to look forward to. Not many episodes in this season, I don't think, but we need to take on Barcelona today. We've got Malungu in goal, Lazala at right back, Lorenzo and Kenner in the middle, and Bernard at left back. Butman and Bellingham are in the centre today, and then it's Ambere, Fati, Greenwood and Kane in the front four positions as we try to make sure that we get that top spot and the seeding for the knockout stages. So really important that we get this result in today. Nice to look at those familiar faces in the Barcelona team. We are back at our old stomping ground, so we're looking to get one over on them really, but you can see they've still got pretty much the team that we left them with. Barrow and Aouar, the key players, Dembele and Mbappe, Severo of course. We've stolen Esposito away from them. He's on the bench. Fati obviously away from them, but it's still such a strong squad. I forget how strong that Barcelona team was when we left it there. It's hard actually to know whether the Ajax team was stronger than that Barcelona team, but we've got a chance here. Kane back to Bellingham, Butman through to Lazala. It's still there for him. He's picked it up, he puts it over, Fati with the header, and he scored against Barcelona again. I feel like he was underrated at Barcelona, including when I was the manager. He has shown that he is absolutely world class since joining us in January of this year actually. A great header there, and we have the lead away from home against the Nou Camp. This is important as well because when we come up against these big teams we need to show that we can beat them over 2 games, and while we threw away the first leg, it's important we try and get the result here away from home to give us that confidence that we can do this in those knockout stages. Now obviously we won the Champions League last year, we know we can do it, but you want to keep that momentum going as Mbappe hits that one wide of the post. So half an hour gone, we're on track, we're looking pretty good right now with about 5 minutes to go till the end of the first half, and we look completely in control. They've only had 1 effort on target, 2 negatives, 1 positive for them, 2 positives, 1 negative for us. Always a good balance to have. And we've made Severo and Dembele feel nervous, Aouar feeling anxious, and then Mbappe is now off the pitch and so is Aouar. They've taken off probably their 2 best players, which is not a great way to try and aspire a comeback in my book. But Barrow finds Gerrard. He then launches it in, and Jota again caused us a lot of problems in the last leg, and he's nearly done it again. Windal over, but it's cleared away. Todibo chases after it. It's put forward, and Lazala settles for just getting it into touch. And at the moment, Ambere not having the best game. We could take him off for Ona Jana. We'll also maybe take Bernard off for Gonçalves, and I'm actually going to bring on Esposito for Harry Kane up front. See if Esposito can get a goal against his former club here, where he was also underrated by Barcelona and underused. So a little bit of a point to prove for him as well. But it looks like we're making that point. They've come back as European champions. Fati has scored, and we might be about to get the win as well, showing that we are the better team than Barcelona now. And there's the full-time whistle. A really nice victory there. Very satisfying to beat your former teams like that. Good result, never in doubt. And despite all their striking talent, they didn't manage to score against us. Look at that. 15-0 to Chelsea against Young Boys. 5 for Sancho, and a double hat-trick for Erling Haaland. You don't see that very often in the Champions League. Very big result there. But we have won the group, and we are still on track to reach the final of the Champions League for yet another year as manager. So we'll take on Wolves in the interim, and then we'll pick up with Liverpool in just a second. Well, after that Barcelona win, we did follow up against Wolves with a very easy victory, really. They never threatened our goal, and we could have scored an awful lot more than just 4. This is one of those games where it feels like the highlights are just never going to stop coming, but fortunately not all of them turned into goals. First goal though was a beauty. Wilson from range against his former team, who he left in the summer, made it 1-0. Harry Kane then dinked the ball in behind. We've seen him do that so much in real life. And Mason Greenwood with a nice finish for 2-0. Navarro's free kick over the top came to David Neres. He was out on that left flank to whip it in for Mason Greenwood to get his brace. And late on, Harry Kane made it 4-0. Pete Oeman showing what he can do on that far side, picking out Kane with the cross to boot. and Kane did plant it in the back of the net for 4-0. We also got the Champions League knockout round, and we're taking on Real Madrid. So we've had easier draws, but I would expect us to come through against Real Madrid. What's interesting about the draw, Chelsea, Bayern Munich, Atletico Roma. Roma obviously made the semis last year. Barcelona, PSG. It feels a bit like we're having the quarterfinals in the last 16. But it does mean we could get a draw like Ajax, Hertha BSC. Porto could be a good pull if they got through. Either of Athletic Club or Borussia would be a good quarterfinal opponent, but we'll just have to wait and see how that plays out. First off, we need to take on Liverpool in the Carabao Cup. We're going to put a really strong team out there, so we've got Greenwood and Butman leading the line, then Fati and Umans on the wings with Bellingham and Daniel in the centre, then it's Bernard, Diaz, Navarro and Sazao in defence with Malungu in goal. The other big piece of news is that I'm signing another goalkeeper. He looks like he could become the greatest goalkeeper in the world. He's currently playing his trade in South America. Should be joining us in January, and that means that with Malungu in the team as well, there's really no place for Onana to stick around the club. So I've put him up for transfer at £48 million, and it looks like he might be on his way to Inter Milan, and I think that's a decent bit of business if we can do it, because we will have brought in two goalkeepers better than he is. As Chilwell attacks for Liverpool down this left flank, Liverpool have taken us out of a few domestic competitions recently, but Bernard clears that one away so they can't do the damage. Now Umans can counter. He really is an absolute weapon down that right side, and he picks out Fati, who is equally as good on the opposite flank, and it is now 1-0 very early in this match. We are a totally different force to even the team that won the Champions League last season. The squad is so much more well balanced, so much stronger as well. Higher calibre players are in there. And when you compare this with the team that first won the Premier League just a couple of years ago, it is immensely stronger. As Bellingham puts that corner in, it's cleared out. Butman to Daniel. Ball across to Navarro. Ruben Diaz through to Bellingham. He's in on goal. It's blocked. It's in the area, and it's finally cleared away by an under pressure Liverpool, who now can't rely on the likes of Mane, Firmino and Salah to start. They're all in their 30s. They're not as devastating as they once were, but they do have good players. Alexander-Arnold, Valverde, all very good in Football Manager, and here is one of them, but he's been pushed onto the bar there by Malunga. A very decent effort, but fortunately we were able to avoid that one going in the back of the net. Maddison puts the ball in from a corner, but Malungu happy to take the catch for the team. And we do still seem to be just about in control of the game. Bellingham with a corner here into Navarro, who continues to score goals for fun. He is a fantastic centre-back, and he was just £7.5 million, which is an absolute steal. He's one of the best centre-backs in the game. I have no doubt about that. What a regen to bring in. And it's now 2-0 against Liverpool. Bernard with the throw finds Greenwood. It's played over the top. Butman gets in behind, and it's just tipped over there. Not a huge amount of threat coming from this Liverpool team as Maddison swings that one in, and it does just go over the top of the bar. And at the moment we just seem to be really comfortable. This is a theme that's come through every game really this season. There have been a few where we've struggled to get the goal. That Arsenal game springs to mind where we did lose our unbeaten season. But in every other game that we've played, we've been totally in control. As Butman gets us kicked off here, not long to go. And if we can see this out, knocking out Liverpool will be a real scalp as well. Fati cutting in from the left flank. He gets a shot off. And what a shot it is. Ansu Fati, 10 goals already this season. He has been such a big signing. And I have to say, the recruitment over the last 12 months, the last two transfer windows in particular, has been out of this world. We've signed every player has gone in to start in the team on a regular basis and be an improvement over what went before. And because we haven't let all the other players go out the door at the same time, even Onana, I could have sold him as soon as we brought in Malungu, but I thought I'd keep him just in case. And he was never unhappy. I've just decided I don't need him anymore. And it means that the squad is so strong throughout. As this ball goes in from the corner, it's cleared away. Alexander-Arnold tries to hold it up. Greenwood is tackled and it's straight through to Malungu, who's looking to keep yet another clean sheet. But he's going to face real competition when this new goalkeeper comes in. I'm not sure which one I'm actually going to prefer. We'll have to see when the player lands exactly what he's like. I think he's joining in January anyway. Not long left here as Mane gets it on the edge of the area, and that's a stunning effort for Sadio Mane, showing that he doesn't quite need the pace that maybe he used to have, because he's still got the ability to pull out shots like that. And Malungu beaten at his near post, which is the only place our keepers ever get beaten, has just lost his clean sheet to a stunning strike. And you can see they've got that Dybala, Mane, Firmino front three out in there as well. They've got Eder Militao on the bench, and Ito, who I've tried to sign countless times, one of the best goalkeepers in the game, stuck on the bench. That's a real mistake from this Liverpool coach, who I think is still Jurgen Klopp. I actually don't know. Daniel bringing the ball forward though, looking for a late cherry on the cake, and Alexander-Arnold has brought him down. That's got to be a penalty, and it is a penalty. Fati for the hat-trick, sends the keeper the wrong way, and it's 4-1 against Liverpool. An absolute drubbing today by the team, and we are in a really, really nice position heading into the semi-finals of this competition. I just can't see any team that's capable of beating us, especially over two legs. We're so good. And there we go. We're into the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup, and I would expect us to go on to win the whole thing after this. I'm not sure who we're going to be drawn against. That's in a few days' time. Let's just skip ahead to that match against... skip ahead to that draw in the Carabao Cup and see who we get. So Bournemouth and City are through. Chelsea and United both getting knocked out. That is interesting. I'm hoping we get Bournemouth or somebody else then in the semis. Let's see. Who are we pulling out the hat? First team out, Bournemouth. Next, Man City, which means we're taking on Blackburn for a place in the final of the Carabao Cup. And this could be our year to win it for the club for the first time, and as a first time as a manager. So looking ahead, I think we're probably going to run through all of these games and maybe even go up to this point here. So past the first game against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu and take them on alongside the Man City game, who will probably be our closest rivals for the Premier League title. I think that's the next setup. So do drop a like on the video down below if you enjoy this new format of longer stretches and less highlights. Make sure to subscribe for the next video when it comes out. But until next time, see ya.